Roosevelt Island haunting. Posted by u/jaded Felicity. Warning, long story. When I was a sophomore in college, I lived in an apartment in NYC on Roosevelt Island, which is nestled between Manhattan and Queens. The island has a dark history, and at one point there were insane asylums and a smallpox hospital. It's actually pretty fascinating, if you want to Wikipedia it, but with all of that suffering, the island seems to still carry that burden. So our apartment was laid out in sort of an L-shape. The living room/dining room faced part of the hallway. There was a bathroom at the end of the hall that was small and led to the two bedrooms, one of which had a balcony off of it. I'm not going to lie, we had a killer view, and for a dorm we felt like we were living pretty large. But not long after we moved in, my 3 roommates and I all began to experience some things. It started with the feeling like we were being watched all the time. I remember specifically I was home alone and working on a mural, art student, and I began to feel very uneasy, like someone was right behind me the whole time watching me. This went on for about an hour and I just couldn't shake this feeling, but did my best to just roll with it. But I'll admit it, I was scared. I was relieved when my roommates got home. As the semester continued, my roommate and I had a huge project due, and in order to accommodate all the space we needed to do it, we took turns working in the living room. I worked on my project first and then headed to bed as my roommate worked on hers. I was laying in my bed reading with my back to the door, when I saw a shadow come up on my book and felt like someone was behind me. Thinking it was my roommate, I turned to see what she wanted and she wasn't there. I shrugged it off and kept reading. The shadow once again crept up on my book. I moved my blankets, my head, and the shadow didn't move. At this point I was scared but felt ridiculous if I mentioned it, so I pulled the covers over my head and just went to sleep. Fast forward to Halloween. We had a party and a bunch of friends were over. As the night wore on we started talking about ghosts and spooky stuff, and lo and behold it comes up about how everyone thinks our place is a little spooky. My roommate starts to tell a story about how one night we both had a project due and we took turns. I'm like, where is she going with this? She says she was working on her project and she saw someone out of the corner of her eye walking in the hallway, so she gets up thinking it's me, and it turns out I'm asleep. She goes back to do her project and she feels someone come up on her. All the hairs on the back of her neck stand up and once again no one is there. Now at this point I had never mentioned to her what happened to me that same night. I told her my story and we both were in shock. The more we talk, a few people mentioned feeling like they were going to get pushed off the balcony every time they went out there. And then it comes out that 2 of our friends had the exact same dream when they slept over. They were paralyzed and began floating and then began to uncontrollably spin. At this point, I'm convinced something is happening. Sometime later, I began to start seeing a shadow figure off and out of the corner of my eye in the hallway. It was dark with no features and I only ever saw it out of the corner of my eye as it quickly darted when I would look full on. I convinced myself it was just my eyes until my friend was over. We were sitting at the table talking when I got distracted for a second because I saw it. So I took a pause in the conversation, and when I looked at my friend she said, "I saw it." I said, "Saw what?" And she replied, "That black thing in the hallway." I had never told her I saw it before, so I felt totally vindicated. The pinnacle of my experiences happened when it was winter break. My roommates had left to go home and I was the last one there. Not wanting to be alone, I called a friend to stay. We were talking about going out, so I went into the bathroom to brush my teeth. The door was open because we were still talking. When there was a pause in our conversation, I heard a voice plain as day whisper my name loudly and directly into my ear. At this point I visibly freaked out. I confirmed with my friend that she said nothing and we decided to leave the apartment for a while. During winter break I had contacted a few paranormal teams who wanted to check it out after I relayed my story. When we got back from break, I told my roommates and they were not at all interested and acted like I was nuts, though we all had experiences. I regret to this day not just letting them come. So, I went to a church, got holy water, sprinkled my apartment and said aloud, "This is my apartment and you're scaring me, that's not okay and you need to go." After that I didn't feel much of a presence, but maybe I just believed what I did worked and learned to ignore it? I'll never know. My dreams are back. Posted by u/bye-bye-boys. So a while back I talked about my dreams taking me to, I don't know what else to call it other than an alternate universe. I've seen little girls being hung, people watching me through windows, and my dead pets come back to life. All of which take place in the night time, although it only happens when I nap during the day. I am usually able to tell in them that it's a dream, but the last 2 it felt so real. The first one happened 2 days ago. I got back from work at 6 and fell asleep. When I woke up it was pitch black, and my clock read 12:31. All my lights in my room were on and my phone was playing a video. When I reached for the phone, my hand just went limp and I couldn't grab it, but I saw the texts of my parents pop up saying it's almost 1 a.m. turn off your lights. Mind you, I always stay up late enough to fall asleep forgetting to turn them off, so this is something my parents just text me when they head to bed just in case I'm asleep. I sit up all dehydrated and grab my water, and chug it when the bye flag falls off my door. It freaks me the hell out, so as any scared ass teenager I decided go to my parents' room, so I grabs my blanket and scurried out of my room through my mom's office to the hallway. My sister isn't back from her work yet, so her lights are on for her lighting up her little hallway. I turn into the main hallway and look down it. We have a huge mirror at the end before my parents' room with the archway for the kitchen, and the pony wall separating it from the dining room and formal living room on the left. I start speed walking. This hallway has been part of my nightmares since I was a kid and where I've seen most of the hanging kids in my dreams. As I reach the halfway point, I look up to see an 8-foot man following me, then another comes out of the entryway. I sprinted for my parents' room and felt a jolt. I woke up at 6:14 to my bed shaking and jolted up tight to see nothing on my room. The second encounter took place today. I wasn't all that energetic this morning, so I decided to let me cat into my room and watch some YouTube as he snuggled up next to me. As I talked out before, I always exit my room through the Jack and Jill bathroom that's attached to my mom's office, despite having a door lead straight out to the hallway. The front door of my room is where my cat sits and meows to be let in every morning. Needless to say, we fell asleep, both of us. I woke up. Usually I'm alone, but my cat was right next to me, eyes wide. It's pitch black and so as my room looked to the clock 12:31 a.m. I get up to close my blinds, when I hear "please let us out, we're scared." My cat started hissing and I woke up. My cat was freaking out. He was just asleep, but he jumped over me and full-on sprinted out of my room. He's 14 and chubby, so him running is rare. It was just then I realized I was facing my window. My cat was facing my room. What the hell did he see? Also, side note, my cat has hissed at corners, fought nothing in my closet, and sprinted in and out of my room since I was a kid. 2 weeks ago he flinched like he was hit and didn't come into my room for at least a week. My dog did the same, also stood guard like something was in my room before he passed, and my other cat refused to be near it. I will be posting a video of the areas in my house I go in my dreams today. My dad grew up in an old hospital. My dad grew up in a small town in Vermont. His childhood home was an old hospital that had been renovated into a house. He has told me quite a few stories of unexplainable things that happened there. This one, however, is probably the most bone-chilling thing that has ever happened there. My dad's sisters would sometimes hold seances with their friends from school, and one time in particular they decided to skip school and do one in a closet upstairs while everyone else was gone. 2 of his sisters and a girl from school piled into the closet and shut the door. During the seance, my aunt, A, asked if there's anyone here, please make yourself known immediately. My other aunt, S, felt a hand on her back. She jumped to the side a little bit and A saw the hand coming out of a box on the floor. She said it looked dead gray and rotting. The girls freaked out and ran out of the closet. Doors and cabinets were slamming in the house and they were so scared they just ran out of the house and left it empty for hours. My dad came home from school and saw the front door open, so he figured someone was home, and was calling for A&S asking why they left the door wide open. With no answers, he thought maybe they were messing with him. He was the youngest and often his sisters would pick on him. He walked around the house yelling for them, saying it's not funny and he didn't want to play along with their stupid games. When he got upstairs, he heard a bedroom door slam. He went to the door and tried to open it, but it wouldn't budge. He banged on the door. Hey, this isn't funny, come on, just open the door. No answer. He tried to turn the knob and pull as hard as he could, but it still wouldn't budge. He put his leg on the wall as leverage and pulled back and finally got the door open, just a crack. He peeked through the crack and saw nothing. There was nothing there, nobody holding the door, nobody messing with him. Then the door was ripped away from him, shutting itself again, and he fell onto the ground. He was shocked. He got up and tried to open the door once again, and it opened with no resistance this time. He inspected the room and nobody was there. Super creeped out, he went downstairs and found his sisters coming back home. He asked them what kind of game they were playing with him and they looked scared. They told him that they haven't been home for hours because of what they had seen that morning and they were not messing with him. The house actually mysteriously burned down years after this when they were all adults, and I'm pretty sure there was also a small graveyard close by where the old hospital used to bury bodies. His mom, who has passed away now, 2 of his sisters, and he has had many experiences in that house. However, most of them were not as aggressive as this one. I think that the seance really woke something up that day. Wholesome Ghost Experience. Posted by you/Welcome Thrill House. Not sure if this is the place for this, but here is my wholesome ghost experience. My brother passed away in 2017. Around 6 months after he died, I was doing laundry at my mom's house and found a dime at the bottom of my basket. I made a comment to my mom about how I had been finding a ton of dimes lately. She got really excited and told me she had recently seen a medium and they told her that my brother was leaving dimes for the family to find as a sign he is still with us. Since then I find dimes everywhere and super frequently, even to a point where I will have just looked at a place and find one there minutes later. I know this could easily be explained away, but I wanted to add that I only find dimes, never other change, and I almost never carry cash, so I don't have a reason to be finding much at home. Every time I find one I keep it and makes me feel good thinking about my brother giving me these little signs he's still around.
Thanks for watching. Please do like, share, comment and subscribe for more videos.